Green screens are a useful way to make a lesson come alive in the virtual classroom. A green screen is when you replace the real background of a video with a digital background. Instead of putting each visual element in its own frame, a green screen lets you blend them. They can be used to teach from or can be used as a reference tool for students. Okay, class, thanks for submitting your answers to the sample problem. Let's now review it to check that you chose the correct size to use in the Pythagorean theorem. Remember that the hypotenuse is always directly across from the right angle, and it is the largest side of any right triangle.